Hi everyone, welcome back to the Soul Retreat channel. Today I will be showing you how to curl your hair using straighteners. So as a hairdresser, I get asked quite a lot how I manage to curl hair using straighteners. Using straighteners has always been how I've curled hair. I've tried to use tongs and wands before, and although they are great and I find wands quite easy to use, I've always reverted back to using straighteners to curl hair. One, I find it quicker and easy for myself to do it that way. And two, you don't just get one type of curl using straighteners. You can do waves with them, or you can do proper bouncy sort of curls with them, or you can go for more like beach kind of curl look. Straighteners have changed massively over the years, so you don't need to have a fancy pair of GHDs to do this. So what I'm using today is, I think the brand is called Corylus. You can get these out of Sally's, and I like these as well because they have a temperature gauge on them, so you can decide how hot you want them. If you've got quite fragile hair, you might not want to have them up full blast because you can do damage to your hair. On the other hand, if you've got really thick, coarse, straight hair, you might want to bump them up to the highest temperature just so you can get the maximum curl. Okay, to start with, what you want to do is you want to have nice, clean, washed, blow-dried hair. You don't have to do anything fancy when you blow dry your hair. You just have to blast it dry into the pattern that you like, the position you want it, however you want. If you've got a fringe, just dry that forward. You can use a brush just to smooth the ends under if you find that your ends get a wee bit dry and frizzy looking, but you don't have to faff too much when you dry your hair, but just make sure it's nice and clean. A top tip: if you find that your hair is very fine and fly away after you dry it and it's too soft, spray a bit of dry shampoo in your hair before you do this. It'll just help add a bit more texture, a bit more grip to the hair, and help it to sit in the position a lot better and a lot longer. Okay, to start, you're going to need a couple of things. So I advise that you grab some clips. Now I've got this one here, like a crocodile clip, I think a butterfly clip, and then I've also got one like this. Doesn't matter which one you use, both are very good at holding the hair out and in place. What I use here is, it's like a flat brush, it's called a wet brush. Just something similar to this, or paddle brush, whatever you've got. You can also maybe get your hands on a backcombing brush as well. These ones have got quite dense bristles on them. And of course you will need a pair of straighteners. Like I said, doesn't matter what brand you have, all straighteners these days tend to be really good, and mine's has got a little heat dial on it. And of course I've got some products here as well. So I've also got hairspray. This is the Always Sculpting Mist that we use here at Soul Retreat. And I've also got Glossy Nectar, and this will just help add a little bit of shine at the end. So first things first, I'm going to go over the technique of using the straighteners while they're off, so they're cold. If you are new to straightening your hair, I do highly recommend that you do this first and practice a couple of times with either a very low temperature or off, completely off. If you start putting too much heat on your hair on the same position for too long, what you'll find is it'll eventually not do what you want it to do, and that is because you've sort of used too much heat on it, and it's sort of you've like stretched the elasticity in the hair. So the only way to get that back is if you wet the hair again and dry it fresh again. So the thicker your hair is, the finer you want the section to be. If you have a lot of hair, doing this will take you a bit longer than somebody who's got really fine thin hair. So my hair's it's fine, but there's a lot of it. So I'm just going to show you, obviously with my type of hair, how big the sections are that I take. So using my two fingers, I'm just going to weak my fingers round underneath. And you just want to clip the excess hair up and out the way, like so. And then I'll go down the middle of my head with my fingers. So although you can't see what you're doing at the back of your head, you really need to use your hands to feel what's going on. So if you just have a rough idea of where the middle of your head is, the centre of your head is, and just split your hair into two sections like this. Now for me, I'd be quite happy to go and curl this section how it is. It's about an inch thick anyway, and for me, and that kind of tends to do me. If you have got a lot thicker hair, more coarse hair, you want to kind of stick to the inch section. So you might find, depending how low your hairline starts as well, how thick you want the section to be. But I do about a centimetre to an inch, okay? If you normally straighten your hair like this, just think of the movement as if you're coming in to straighten your hair, okay? But as you go in, once you clamp the straighteners now you don't have to do it really tight, you don't have to squeeze them. You just have to place them so they're closed, and you just want to twist and slowly pull it down. And again, you're not gripping really hard, so it should just slide on out. And that's it. So again, I'm going to show you again while they're off. Now you're going to go in as if you're going to straighten your hair, close them, and this time you're just going to turn them halfway and slide them down. And the slower you go, the more curly this will be. So if you find you've got really straight hair, you might want to do this a bit slower. But if you've got quite curly hair, you might find, or you've got a natural wave to your hair, you might find you don't have to go that slow. If you do find your hair is quite fragile, another thing you can use is a heat protecting spray before you do this. Yeah, so you can do like one spritz on each side as you work your way up, but you don't want it to be too damp, too wet. So I've just switched the straighteners on, and my heat setting can go up to 235 degrees. But I'm not going to have them necessarily that high. I'm going to put them down to 210. Now there's no need for me to show you the back on how to do this, because it doesn't matter if the sections are completely even and neat, just as long as you've got the same thickness as you go up. So as long as you're not taking too much hair, like I said, I think I've maybe got about an inch here. So just work it, if you've got really thick hair, start with a centimetre. Say you go, if you think you can add a bit more hair, go for an inch instead. First section with the heat on. I'm going to pop our straighteners in, turn them halfway, and you're going to slowly pull them down. Ta-da! And leave it there. Do not touch it and do not brush it out, okay? This is really important if you find that you struggle to keep a curl in your hair. Do not go in with your hands or fingers straight away and try and brush it out, because you're going to lose the shape of it. You want it to cool how you've got it sitting now, because it will eventually drop out a little bit. Now, coming to the other side of the head, some people find this the trickier side. I'm right-handed, so I tend to find doing this side a lot easier. But when you come to the other side, you might think, oh, I can't twist it the same way. So on this side, we went in and we twisted it this way to your left. On this side, you're going to go in again as if you would straighten your hair, and you're just going to turn it to your right. Remember, you can practice this when it's cold first. You don't have to jump in and do it while the straighteners are hot if you want to practice first. There we go. Now you're just going to take your next section and work your way up your head. So again, I'm coming up, ring my ear, and I'm going to take the next section. Now you'll probably find that as you get further up the head, the section gets wider as it goes round the thicker parts of your head. So all you need to do is take that section. You've got two sections here now. Again, you've split the hair, and you just want to split this section in two. And we'll go back in. I'm just going to slide it down. Be careful when you get to your ears as well. You don't want to clamp them, because that will be very sore. And again, on this side, you might want to take, because you're going round the head, the section is getting wider, so you might want to split this section in two as well, or three, again depending how much hair you've got. The same thing, you're going in as if you're going to straighten your hair, but you turn it to the right. So instead of going under the ear like last time, I'm going to take from about my temples here, And I'm just going to go straight back, clasp it out the way. If you are a newbie to doing this, it is quite important to use sectioning clips so you don't get confused about where your sections are, and it just keeps it a lot cleaner. And you're just going to work your way up the head. I'm taking 2 sections again, and you want to make sure you pull it right to the end, so don't unclamp it, just let it fall out. Let the hair fall out the straighteners. There you go. Now remember, don't be tempted to brush the curls out at this point. Leave them to set like this. Do not brush them out, okay? As tempting as it is, leave them alone. The more confident you get at doing this, you'll find that you'll not need to take as many sections. Okay, so this is the final section at the top. And this will be your top back section. Right, I'm going at my fringe at the minute, so I'm just going to kind of include the fringy bit into the front section. Going from the top, and I'm going to turn it round halfway again. So I'm coming in from the top, and I'm turning it. There we go. The section at the back here. And same as before, we're just turning halfway. Farrah Fawcett. Okay, so now that you've curled all of your hair, once you finish off the last section, leave it for another 2 to 5 minutes. Just go away and do something else, okay? Don't be tempted to brush it yet. Just leave it, okay? The whole point in doing why I'm telling you not to brush it out straight away is that you need the hair to set and cool in the position it's in to get longevity out of it. So if you were to curl the first section and immediately start running your fingers through it to pull it out and put a brush through it, and you think, oh yeah, that's sitting great, I love it, give it half an hour, depending on your hair type. If you step outside, it's just going to fall out, it's just going to disappear. So although you might not like it completely really curly, the best way to get longevity out of it is to leave it really curly and then eventually just run your fingers through it, or a brush or a comb, and then as the night or day goes on, it will eventually fall out a little bit more, okay? But it's better to have it sitting really curly to start, to then give it time to drop naturally. Okay, once you've left it for a couple of minutes to set, which is very important as I've just stated, so if you didn't, you're gonna have to go back, wash your hair and do it all again, okay? Right, so once it's all set, you can then go in with your sort of paddle flat brush, or like a teasing comb, or teasing brush, back comb and brush, or you can simply just use your fingers. Sometimes I like to do that. I just run my fingers through the hair, and sometimes that's enough for me to do that. Otherwise, go in with a brush and you get a slightly different different looks. So with the fingers you can get more of a bedraggled kind of beach wavy messy look, but then as soon as you put a brush to it, it just sort of looks very classical, you know. But yeah, depending on how you want it to look, you can use your fingers as well. And then if you feel like it, you can get your back comb and brush involved and tease some bits. Like a bit more volume around certain areas, just even at the root there, you can always go in. And I just like to sometimes scrunch my fingers into my hair just so it's not so neat looking. I don't necessarily particularly like a very nice neat curl. I like to scrunch it in, and sometimes I will even go with like a wax or a putty kind of paste, and I'll pop a little bit of my fingers in and scrunch it in to the hair instead of using hairspray. So you go to the other side. And then where you've split it before, you can just break up the hair a bit again and just go in and shake it out. I'm going to use some of the Glossy Nectar by Olay that we stock here at Soul Retreat. And you just need a tiny wee bit, and I just pop a wee bit onto the ends. And it just helps add a little bit more shine in the hair. And if you do have any little flyaways, you can just lightly tap them down. And I'm going to go in with some hairspray now as well. This is the Sculpting Mist by Olay that we also have here at Soul Retreat. And I'm just going to pick the hair up and do a couple of scooshes. And you want to spray from underneath because you want to get lift in the hair. There's no point in doing all these curls and just spraying on top of the head so that the hairspray just lies on top of the hair. You want to go underneath. You can even chuck your head upside down and give it a good little spray or a scoosh as well, and flip it back, and you can tease it a little bit more with your fingers or with a brush. Once you're finished, remember to switch your straighteners off because you don't want to burn any furniture or have any nasty accidents, okay? So make sure they're well and truly switched off before you go out and leave the house. There you go, now we've accessorised. And that's it, that's how you curl your hair with straighteners. At least that's how I like to do it. Like I said, there's plenty other kind of curls and waves you can do using straighteners, but I'll leave that for another time and maybe do sort of more like a beach wave look or a proper finger wave sort of style with them. But again, I'll leave that for next time because this could just go on and on and on. But I hope you find this helpful. I do encourage you to try it yourself at home. So once you're confident enough with the straighteners off and getting this technique right, switch them on and maybe start off at a low temperature, just to get the hang of it with a little bit of heat there, and then work the temperature up, get it hotter so that you can actually get a decent curl in the hair. But remember what I said, if you go over a section too much with the heat, it eventually will stop working. The hair won't want to go in that position anymore, so you'll have to wet your hair and dry it again to get it to work properly, okay? But styling your hair is all about fun, so I do encourage you to give this a go at home if you can, and don't give up just because it doesn't go right the first time. Being able to curl your hair with straighteners is not just limited to sort of mid-length to long hair. I used to curl my hair when it was really short and cropped as well. I used to have like a funky side fringe and it would be all cropped up at the back. If I find a picture, I will sort of try and add it into this video if I can. But I used to sort of curl my hair even just like the top where it was a little bit longer in the front fringe, and I'd do the same sort of thing. I'd do like waves through my hair. So it can be done with shorter hair. Try and find ways in which it works better for you. As long as you're sort of twisting the straighteners a little bit and slowly sort of pulling them through. Again, don't clamp it really tight because you're just going to cause issues there. You want to have it resting in between the plates and just a smooth sort of pull out. Okay, well, if you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the video. Please leave a comment if there's anything in particular you'd like to see, not just hair related, skincare, makeup as well. We're also on Instagram and Facebook as Soul Retreat Edinburgh. I'll try and leave the links below. So if you do try this out, feel free to tag us in it. I'd love to see what you create as well. Remember, practice makes perfect, so get practicing as much as you can. Don't give up on the first time if you think it didn't look very well. There's no right or wrong way to curl your hair, to be honest. Just if you like it, you like it, that's it. Just give it a go, see how you get on. Until next time, I will see you again. Take care, bye.